So as you all know about what happened in Algeria and still what's happening in Algeria, I might need him for translation in this case, saying it somewhere. So, the Algerian movement is about dignity. Right now it's not about poverty, it's not about something else. I mean mainly about dignity. When there is the Algerian movement started in 22nd of February, and then it was decentralized, and it was self-organizing people. Went out, 23 million people went out streets, calling to stop the fifth term. When they see the president, a group of corrupt people, inconstitutional, wanted the president to run for another fifth term, while people were like inside against this. What happened in what we call Arab Spring, since broke out in 2012, it was like a feeling of, and also what we've seen in what happened in Syria and other countries. We see like people like were scared to go to the street and to revolt against this corrupt regime again. It was a bit like a scary scene, especially when you see in TV what's happening. That thing inside of our hearts broke up in that day, in 22nd, where people went out, especially when they declared to run to the fifth term. And see, this is they went out calling for our dignity. And someone who is disabled, respecting disabled people, disabled, cannot run a fifth term. 22nd in office. This is disrespect to the society. This is respect to people, to the nation itself, and this all about dignity. Second thing is the influence of French government in Algeria, inside, in the office, in the administration, in education as well. So this also influenced negatively on people. Why they wanted self-ruling. They wanted to get back. We want it, not they. I'm a member of them as well. We want to get it back. We want to get our country back. That's why we revolted also against the French government, because the French government, when they left the country in 1962, they left the what we call their children. They left their children there in main power, in the army as well, in the most important enterprises and institutions. That's why in Algeria we see there is a French widespread in French. We speak like French much better than English. These elements made also Algerian people to revolt against this. We see ourselves. We still colonized by, symbolically speaking, the France is not involved in us, but the hands of a France who rule in Algeria. That's why we revolted against this as well. So back in the days, what happened in 1990s as well, what we call civil war, also influenced, stopped people to go out to the streets as well, because they see, if any case we go to the street, especially since 2001 till 2019, 11,000 demonstration, protest. Every protest for let's say teachers, they went to the streets for themselves, and we workers for themselves. lawyers for themselves alone, like a very like a specific protest. But now all of them went out. They went out for the government, for the country, not for themselves. So imagine 11,000 protests. All these ones helps as well to create this what we call these movements, the current movement. Let's talk about the Algerian regime. Since Bouteflika, the ex-president, when he started running this country, he created a corrupt regime. Anyone who's in power should be corrupt. This is like anyone who let's say in a very basic institution. Let's say in school. If you be like a director in school, you should be corrupt to get into power. Like a mayor should be corrupt. Like we say, like any single sector must be a corrupt person there. So that this is the plan he made to control everything. Let's say the workers' union. The president of the workers' union is a very corrupt person. Like with even the chief of the general army is corrupt. WikiLeaks declared hundreds of articles concerning his corruption. So that he controlled everything, every aspect, every sector in the country, controlled it like tightly. That's why it's a bit hard. It was a bit hard to revolt against this regime, and they went for the fifth term with very helpful. Like imagine they declared like they went for this fifth term happily. They never thought we go to the street. They never thought, because it was well controlled by Bouteflika. And also when people see since 2014, this president never spoke to people. April 2014, he never spoke to people. We see someone ruling it, but inconstitutional. Nowadays we found out that his brother was using the stamp of the president. So the influence of a French government in Algeria, also the internal problems as well, the historical aspect of factors as well, elements as well. All this helps for this revolution. But also one of the reason now recently. The primary school, the minister of the primary school of the education. In the primary school, this is very important point I would like to share with you. In our books before, we studied, for instance, Palestine. This is like a map. There is a map, and the Palestine exists in that map. Recently, with the help of this minister, she took off this Palestine from the map. That became Israel. This is created a serious, also a very bad feeling in the country. We just on Facebook we were talking just about it the whole week. People like students inside, even students. Then after when she confronted a very serious reaction from people, he said it was a mistake. It was a mistake in the book. Yeah, this is. Then after she wanted to change our culture and tradition, and also she wanted slowly to change. Even let's not make it bigger. The term of religion as well. And as you know, back home we conservative, but not like to some extent. one of the things in the book we got a book talks about religion, not the holy book. A book in the school, like educate religion. She wanted to take that the first expression of the book, which is by the name of a god, by the name of. She said we don't need this. This is also created like a debate. All these elements helps for this moment to break up. Yeah. So. Did you say something? Shall I continue? Or?
You can for 5 more minutes.
Okay, so shall I cover another point?
If you could speak a little, perhaps, about the role of the trade unions in the protest, which I believe have become more important recently, especially the arguments within the UGTA.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically these trade unions are controlled by corrupt people as well. Now, when the movement started, these names become a spot, as a spot in front of the public, and so the public started calling them to jail them, to get them into justice. Now, nowadays, when they went up, all of them, like 15, we mentioned 15 of trade unions went up the street, and every trade union, they called by the prime minister for the negotiations, and they never accepted any negotiation with the government. Except they never accepted this, and all these negotiations were not successful, and they just that's what we call all of them. That's what we can say about the trade unions. Was they didn't get involved into this because the corrupt leaders are gone. One of Egypt, like the president of Egypt as well. So because they represent themselves, they don't represent, the whole body. So there is unsuccessful negotiation with them. The lawyers, the judges, the teachers, all of them went out the street every day. Each one goes out the street. Like we've got lawyers every Wednesday. Judges before, also judges wanted, even the judges themselves wanted liberty. Even the judges in themselves, not only people. They asked for liberty. We don't need the justice of a telephone. This is the slogans they use. Like use a telephone, a judge give him these 10 years, like for example, or you give him a call, and he shouldn't be jailed. Like justice of telephone is a very famous slogan back home. That's why you can speak about the trade unions. Thank you.